Alright, let's start with something that might make you do a double take. Ganymede. Yes, that's right, Ganymede is not just any moon. It's the largest moon in our solar system, and believe me, it's bigger than the planet Mercury. That's like saying your neighbor's dog is taller than a giraffe. But wait, don't get confused, it's still a moon, so it orbits Jupiter, which is way bigger than Earth. Ganymede is part of Jupiter's massive family of moons, and it's got more going on than you'd expect from something that's just a rock in space. Ganymede is one of the Galilean moons, those 4 big ones discovered by Galileo back in 1610. It's actually the second largest moon after Callisto, but don't let that fool you. It's still massive enough to have its own magnetic field. That's pretty cool because most moons are too small to generate their own magnetic fields. Ganymede is like the underdog of the solar system who somehow managed to pull off a major win in the science department. Now, where exactly is Ganymede located? It orbits Jupiter at a distance that's about 1.1 million kilometers away from the planet, so close that it experiences some serious gravitational tugs of war. But despite being so close to such a massive planet, Ganymede has managed to stay relatively stable and even has its own icy crust with subsurface oceans. Scientists think there might be liquid water beneath that ice, which is a big deal because we're always looking for signs of life beyond Earth. What makes Ganymede even more fascinating is that it's the only moon in our solar system known to have its own magnetic field. This means it can interact with Jupiter's powerful magnetosphere, creating auroras and other electromagnetic phenomena. It's like having a tiny planet with its own weather system, but instead of rain, it has ice and maybe even some hidden oceans. Scientists are really excited about studying Ganymede because it could hold the key to understanding how life might form in extreme environments. So why is Ganymede such a big deal? Well, for one thing, it's huge, so big that if you were to stand on its surface, you'd feel like you're on a planet. But don't get too comfortable. It's still just a moon, and it's got some serious challenges, like extreme temperatures and intense radiation from Jupiter. Still, Ganymede is one of the most intriguing objects in our solar system, and scientists are eager to learn more about its secrets. Alright, let's talk about cracks in ice, because if you think Earth's tectonic plates are dramatic, wait until you see what's happening on Ganymede. This moon of Jupiter is basically a giant frozen pizza crust with some serious geological drama going on underneath. The surface is covered in these long, winding cracks that look like they were made by a very confused ice sculptor. But here's the kicker. These aren't just random scratches. They're actually evidence of tectonic activity, similar to what we see on Earth but way more icy and mysterious. Imagine if you had a giant slab of ice, and somehow it started shifting like a puzzle piece trying to fit into another shape. That's basically what's happening on Ganymede. These cracks are called lineae, and they stretch for hundreds of kilometers across the surface. Some of them even have ridges and valleys, which suggests that there was some kind of movement beneath the ice, like Earth's plates sliding around but with a lot more freeze-dried drama. Scientists think this tectonic activity might be caused by tidal forces from Jupiter's gravity pulling on Ganymede, creating stress that cracks the surface open. Now, here's where it gets even cooler. These ice cracks aren't just for show. They might actually be hiding something beneath the surface, like a subsurface ocean, the kind of ocean you'd find in a sci-fi movie. But this one is real and possibly filled with liquid water. The tectonic activity could be helping to keep that ocean from freezing solid by creating heat through friction or tidal forces. It's like Ganymede has its own internal geothermal spa, keeping things warm enough for life to potentially exist in the dark depths below. But let's not get too carried away with the life on Ganymede angle just yet. While these ice cracks are fascinating and suggest some serious geological activity, they're still a mystery in many ways. For example, why do some of these cracks look fresh while others seem ancient? And how does the tectonic activity compare to what we see on Earth or other icy moons like Europa? Scientists are still trying to piece together the full story, and every new image from space telescopes adds another layer to this cosmic puzzle. So next time you're staring at a frozen lake or a glacier, remember that Ganymede is doing something similar, but with way more gravity and less sunscreen. These ice cracks remind us that even in the coldest places of our solar system, there's still movement, energy, and maybe even the potential for life. And if that doesn't make you feel like you're on the edge of a cosmic adventure, I don't know what will. Alright, let's dive into one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in planetary science. Ganymede, Jupiter's largest moon, might be hiding a vast ocean beneath its icy crust. It's like finding an underwater city under your own backyard, except this one is way out in space and potentially teeming with life. Scientists have been studying Ganymede for years, and the clues are stacking up to suggest that there's more than just ice and rock down there. So how do they know? Well, imagine if you had a giant ice cube that was actually hiding a lake inside. You wouldn't see it unless you looked really closely. Similarly, scientists used data from NASA's Galileo spacecraft, which orbited Jupiter in the 1990s, to map Ganymede's magnetic field. That's right. Magnetic fields can reveal hidden oceans. The way the moon interacts with Jupiter's powerful magnetosphere gives hints about what lies beneath its surface. But wait, there's more. In recent years, the Hubble Space Telescope has been peering at Ganymede and noticed something strange. It's actually glowing. Not in a spooky, haunted house kind of way, but because the moon is reflecting sunlight off its icy surface. However, this glow isn't uniform. It's brighter on one side than the other. That difference might be due to salt water beneath the ice, which could affect how light bounces around. It's like trying to figure out if a cake has hidden layers just by looking at how it reflects light. Now, here's where things get really exciting. If there's an ocean under Ganymede's ice, that means there might be liquid water, something we know is essential for life as we know it. But this isn't just any old puddle. It could be a massive subsurface sea, potentially deeper than the Earth's own oceans. Think about it. If you could somehow dive into Ganymede's ocean, you'd be swimming in an environment that might have all the ingredients needed for life to form: water, maybe even chemicals and energy sources. But hold on, this isn't just a science fiction scenario. The presence of water also means there could be geothermal activity beneath the ice, similar to what we see on Earth's ocean floors with hydrothermal vents. These vents are known to support unique ecosystems that don't rely on sunlight, which makes them a prime candidate for life in dark, icy worlds like Ganymede. So, if this moon has an ocean and maybe even some geothermal activity, it's not just a frozen rock, it could be a potential haven for alien microbes. Alright, let's talk about Ganymede, because this moon is basically a giant magnet wrapped in ice. Unlike most of Jupiter's moons, which are just chunks of rock and ice orbiting the gas giant like cosmic marbles, Ganymede has its own magnetic field. That's right, this moon isn't just sitting there. It's generating its own magnetic shield, much like Earth does. But here's the kicker. Ganymede's magnetic field is actually weaker than Earth's, which makes it even more impressive because it's so far from the Sun and surrounded by Jupiter's massive magnetic field. It's like a tiny compass trying to stand up against a giant magnet. Now, how does this magnetic field play into auroras? Well, you know those shimmering lights in the sky that we see on Earth during polar nights? Ganymede has its own version of that phenomenon called auroras. But here's where it gets wild. These auroras aren't just caused by solar wind like they are on Earth. Instead, they're powered by Jupiter's magnetic field interacting with Ganymede's own. It's like a cosmic dance between two magnets, creating light shows that glow in shades of green and red. And guess what? These auroras can be so intense that they actually heat up the moon's surface, making it one of the hottest places on Jupiter's moons. But wait, why does Ganymede have a magnetic field at all? Well, scientists think it has to do with its internal structure. Ganymede is believed to have a liquid iron core surrounded by layers of ice and rock, similar to Earth's composition but on a much larger scale. This setup allows for the movement of molten metal, which generates a magnetic field through something called the dynamo effect. It's like if you took Earth's magnetic engine and scaled it up to fit inside a moon the size of Texas. And honestly, that's pretty cool. Especially when you consider that Ganymede is the only moon in our solar system known to have its own magnetic field. So what does this all mean for us? Well, studying Ganymede's magnetic field and auroras gives scientists a unique window into how moons can develop their own geophysical features. It also helps us understand more about Jupiter's magnetosphere and how it interacts with its many moons. Plus, if we ever want to explore Ganymede in the future, knowing about its magnetic field could help us design better spacecraft that can withstand the intense radiation from Jupiter's environment. In short, Ganymede isn't just a pretty ice moon. It's a scientific marvel that keeps scientists guessing and astronomers entertained. And let's not forget, this is all happening millions of miles away in our solar system, with no humans around to witness it firsthand. But thanks to space probes like NASA's Galileo mission, we've been able to peer into Ganymede's secrets and uncover the mysteries of its magnetic field and auroras. It's a reminder that even in the vast emptiness of space, there are still wonders waiting to be discovered. Ones that make us wonder if other moons out there might have their own hidden powers. Alright, let's talk about the weird stuff on Jupiter's moon. You know, the kind of stuff that makes scientists scratch their heads and say, wait, what? Take these dark streaks, for example. They're not just random dirt or some ancient lava flow. They look like they were painted on with a brush. But there's no paintbrush in space. Some theories suggest they might be caused by something called cryovolcanism, where instead of molten rock, the moon spits out water and ammonia. It's like if a volcano had a cold personality and preferred to throw ice cubes instead of lava. Then there are the craters. Some of them look way too perfect. You know how when you drop a pebble in a pond, it creates ripples? Well, these craters don't have any ripples. They're smooth, sharp-edged, and almost like they were carved by a laser. But wait, Jupiter's moon isn't exactly the kind of place where lasers are common. So what's going on here? Some scientists think these craters might be hiding something even stranger, like ancient impacts that left behind not just holes, but maybe clues about the moon's hidden layers or even alien activity. And let's not forget the other anomalies. There are regions that look like they've been hit by a giant meteor, but there's no sign of any debris. It's as if the impact just vanished into thin air. Some people joke that it's like the moon is playing hide and seek with us. But seriously, this kind of mystery makes you wonder if we're missing something in our understanding of planetary geology. Maybe these features aren't just random. They could be part of a bigger puzzle that's been waiting to be solved. So next time you look at Jupiter's moon, remember, there's more going on than meets the eye. These strange surface features and craters are like cosmic riddles, challenging us to rethink what we know about how planets form and evolve. And honestly, if these streaks and craters can make scientists go, then they're doing their job right. After all, who doesn't love a good mystery in space?